Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Crystal Cebedo, a proud 2016 Waianae High School and HIKI NŌ graduate. Welcome to the second of 4 special HIKI NŌ episodes where we showcase our collection of student-produced stories with a focus on compassion. When we looked through the HIKI NŌ archives, we noticed some topics were visited more than others. Last week, our students displayed a deep compassion for our kupuna. Today, we'll be focusing on the unique and sometimes misunderstood ways love is expressed between a parent and a child. It's a topic I can personally relate to. One of the very first stories I produced for HIKI NŌ was about my struggle to be in control while my mother battled cancer. And now, I'm proud to see how HIKI NŌ students have examined this same relationship with the maturity I would expect from seasoned storytellers. Let's take a look at some of these outstanding stories focusing on compassion within the parent and child relationship. Our first story features a student whose relationship with his father plays a huge role both on and off the field. Students from Hongwanji Mission School explore the dynamics of this parent and child relationship in Father Coach.
Many teenagers try to spend as little time as possible with their parents, but it's different for Cole Miyamura. Cole attends Hongwanji Mission School in the Nu'uanu district of Oahu. His father, David Miyamura, is a second-grade teacher there, but Mr. Miyamura has another role that requires them to spend more time together than most fathers and sons.
I've played on 28 teams, and I think 27 of the 28 teams were coached by my dad.
Cole plays a variety of sports, including volleyball and baseball. His dad has coached him in baseball for 9 years. He has coached him in volleyball for 2 years.
It's a little bit of good, little bit of bad. He's always there to help you, always really trying to make you better, even on the weekends and stuff. But it's kind of bad because he never really gives you a break. He's always kind of hard on you.
Being his coach does influence our relationship personally because a lot of times it depends on what happens at the court or on the field. Kind of follows us home a little bit, but it's a good learning experience as well. We can learn from the good and the bad things that happen.
It definitely made me a better player because he was always pushing me and trying to make me the best that I could be. So it's a good thing having him as my coach.
Follow through. Okay, so give yourself a good placement of your ball.
Despite their ups and downs, Cole and Mr. Miyamura's player-coach relationship has actually strengthened their son and father bond.
My relationship with Cole, both as coach and his dad, I think is pretty healthy. As his dad, we spend almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together because he goes to the same school I teach at, and we, are always together. So it has to be a pretty healthy relationship, and we communicate quite well.
My bond with my dad has grown over the years. It's grown a lot. It's actually much stronger now, and we get along really well.
As his coach, same. It's a mutual respect. So it's got to be pretty healthy. Otherwise, it's a tough time at home. Straight through. Okay, you don't want to have a hitch. As a player and as a son in the future, I hope that Cole will take a lot from me. The fact that you should never give up and always set your goals high and go for them. And you can always achieve what you put your mind to as long as you don't give up. So that's what I hope he'll take from what I'm teaching him.
With that message in mind, Cole has learned to appreciate his father in more ways than one.
If I had to tell him something, I'd probably tell him thank you for coaching me and being there for me over all these 9 years.
For Cole and his father, their experiences in sports and in life continue to strengthen their bond. This is Casey Amato from Hongwanji Mission School for HIKI NŌ.
Sometimes when you're a parent, showing compassion means a bit of tough love. Our next story from Waianae High School on the island of Oahu features a teen athlete who wrestles with living up to her father's standards.
For Junior Anuhea Hamilton, this is the course she's chosen. And this is the finish line.
Like, I love wrestling because it's my life. I get stressed out at school and at home especially. But when I'm wrestling, that's when I find my release. I may be mentally exhausted and physically sore, but it's like my escape from reality.
And the reality is, Anu is pretty good at it. Last season, she placed 5th in the HHSAA State Championship 122-pound division. That championship pedigree comes from her family.
I got into wrestling because of my cousin and my dad. I thought that it will make him proud.
I'm her father.
Kima Hamilton is a former wrestler and a man of very strong words.
We're very close, but we argue a lot.
Making a commitment not just to yourself, but to the team. And remember, it's still a team sport.
It's very overwhelming. It's frustrating. Like, over the summer, we got into this big argument where we didn't talk for a week because I didn't do what he wanted me to do.
Studies have shown that parents who motivate their student athletes too hard can put them on a collision course with high levels of stress and other forms of abuse like drugs or alcoholism.
This overbearing relationship persists and the child doesn't feel that the parent is listening to their concerns.
This is just the beginning of second quarter, right?
Go out of my way, I buy special food for you. You get protein.
I do eat.
It can actually cause significant problems in the parents and the child's relationship.
Ready?
It's something that Kima and Anu wrestle with every day.
We argue and everything, but it's part of the relationship we have because he was a wrestler himself and
Just like that.
he pushes me because he knows the struggle.
Push it. Explode. Keep pushing. Push, push, push. Time.
Because I push her very, very hard.
You're swinging. You gotta go all the way down.
In the end, every disagreement always comes down to what's best for Anu.
What I'm basically doing is, and my wife is, we basically just trying to prepare her for after school because it's a cruel world out there.
In an attempt to set her up for a successful future, Anu's dad strives to bring out the best in her.
All parents, I believe, want the best for their children. They want their children to succeed. They want their children to have wonderful opportunities.
There's a difference between overbearing and old school. I'm old school.
And so far, old school seems to have Anu on a course to success.
I benefit a lot from him because if it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be placing in states. I wouldn't be doing all the good things I'm doing right now.
This is Jasmine Kaliksho from Waianae High School for HIKI NŌ.
They say that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, which is definitely the case in our next story. One parent's passion for drag racing is adopted by his children. From Chiefus Kamakahele Middle School on Kauai, we see how a family's winning streak comes from a deep love of the sport and an even deeper trust in each other.
Twice a month, 15-year-old Tyrion Sakamoto rides in the fast lane.
I started drag racing because I would watch other people race down the track and I thought it was fun. And a few years ago, I was able to try this sport and I fell in love with it.
The sport of drag racing is where two vehicles race in a competition of speed in a straight line. Because of Tyrion's dedication to drag racing, her two younger siblings, Ryan and Riance, were inspired to race.
I love drag racing because it's fun and it's family oriented.
I love it because the adrenaline and it's so fun to go so fast.
Drag racing is a family affair because of their father, Mr. Ryan Sakamoto, who started drag racing in 1990 and now passes down the torch to the new generation.
Working with them with the cars and working with them every day, cleaning and teaching them the discipline of how to take care of stuff.
Drag racing has brought my family closer because it involves a supportive pit crew that comes to help us as we race.
We created a bond because it was something that they were interested in.
The Sakamotos compete at Kauai Raceway Park on the west side in Manaus. Junior dragsters who range in age from 5 to 17 race 1/8 of a mile. They say drag racing is fun, but it's also very dangerous, traveling at an average speed of 85 miles per hour.
Well, drag racing, you need a lot of safety equipment. So you have a helmet, a neck brace, a fire suit, and race shoes. So when you race, the only skin that you can see are your eyes. You're strapped in seat belts and arm restraints and everything.
I learned that these cars are built very safe for the kids. They are safe in the car.
The Sakamotos have been very victorious over the years.
My best memory might have to be when I got a perfect reaction on my first race.
Perfect reaction is when the light turns from yellow to green and the reaction time between the light turning yellow to green.
The family bond that the Sakamotos have takes their love for drag racing far. This is Colton Guzman from Chiefas Kamakahele Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
In our next story by HIKI NŌ students at St. Francis School on Oahu, it is evident that the love and inspiration of a parent has a lasting effect. In this case, one ice cream parlor owner attributes his sweet success to the memory of his mother and their mutual love for all things sugary. Here is Lucy's Lab Creamery.
My mom loved desserts. So I remember the first time she actually bought me my first ice cream maker when I was 6 from, I think it was Goodwill or something. And one of my fondest memories was, taking that home and making ice cream with her homemade. I always remember that.
Ice cream is a timeless treat that brings joy to everyone young and old. But for one ice cream shop owner, it's more than just a dessert.
My mother was diagnosed in 2007. She was initially diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer, and she battled long and hard for the next 3 or 4 years. It was a big shock, but after time kind of set in, we realized the gravity of it. And she always was positive, whether or not you have cancer or you don't, or whatever the situation is, that every moment is important. Me and my mom were very close. She was a single mother, just raising me. And we had a lot of good times together. We fought with each other, and it always made us closer. And she was everything to me. I wanted to do something that involved business, but also kept her memory alive.
Lee Wing's love for his mother and his love for science proved to be a powerful combination that served as a catalyst for his spin on ice cream. This unique ice cream parlor is located on Kamake'e Street in Kaka'ako, Honolulu, and it was named after his mother, Lucy.
Lucy's Lab is a local ice cream shop where we hand make lots of crazy, interesting flavors that you wouldn't find in the supermarket. So I came up with a periodic table of flavors because what was really interesting to me was the food science. You can really break it down to a formula. Having this shop means a lot. It means that I can stretch my creative muscle and explore into new things. It means I can keep my mom's memory alive and hopefully do her proud.
While keeping his mother's memory in his heart, as well as the outpouring of support from the community, it was a no-brainer for Lee Wing to use his success to support others in honor of his mother.
Lucy's Lab is unique when it comes to supporting charities. Before we take care of anything else, that's where our proceeds go towards. We should be giving back to the community that gives so much to us. I think the more people we can reach out as a business, the more awareness we can bring towards other charities that do good work towards breast cancer research.
This one little ice cream shop is already living up to its spirited namesake. If the past 2 years are any indication, Lucy's Lab will continue to be a driving force in every aspect of Lee Wing's life.
If my mom walked through the door and looked at the success we have, I know she would definitely be proud of me, but the tiger mom would not let her give me any compliments about it, but I know in her heart she would be proud of it.
This is Minji Kim from St. Francis School for HIKI NŌ.
In our next story, a daughter takes on the role of her mother's caretaker, but struggles with a condition that undercuts her mother's sense of identity. With a positive and humorous outlook on life, she copes with her mother's lost memories and creates new ones they can cherish together. From the island of Maui, students from Maui High School share her story, The Comedy of Life.
And you have to find humor in life, otherwise you can go crazy pretty fast.
For Maui resident Miss Martha Watkins, finding humor while caring for her mother keeps her sane.
Such pretty hair, Mom.
In 2010, 87-year-old Beth Snyder Watkins was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
I just started noticing that she wasn't, being as good about taking the pills. She was forgetting things,
There's areas that are affected by the disease that impair thought and memory. What we notice first is that it's short-term memory.
Alzheimer's, a form of dementia, kills brain cells causing loss of memory and unpredictable actions.
She said things like, "Oh, that's such a nice battery on the top of that pole," or "That man has a nice battery on his head." So there are moments of fun.
After short-term memory loss and repetition, patients often regress back to their childhood.
She's that teenager who wants her mom and dad. She wants to go home. And so not realizing that home and her parents are past.
As the disease progresses, their ability to interact with others worsens.
The hardest part of the whole thing, besides just watching somebody so intelligent lose their ability to communicate. It was when she no longer knew who I was. So essentially, I lost my mother at that point.
According to the Alzheimer's Association, there are 5.4 million Americans living with Alzheimer's. These numbers are expected to rise to 6 million by 2020.
I get it. It's okay. Let's keep that on so that you stay warm, Mom, because you're cold.
Taking care of an Alzheimer's patient is difficult. Caregivers often feel guilt, anger, and stress. To lighten the load, experts suggest a new way of looking at life.
You enter their world. That's an important thing to say about Alzheimer's. You join their world. You don't try to make them adapt to your world anymore.
Currently, there are no proven preventions or cures for Alzheimer's, but certain medications help slow down its effects. For the caregivers, finding comedy in life can help relieve some of the stress.
If you can see the humor in a situation, it's a whole lot easier to deal with. And yeah, it's very, very, very important to get those moments of happiness.
This is Rachel Andrada from Maui High School for HIKI NŌ.
Yes, you do.
In our next story, a passionate performing arts student and his mother prove that some performances don't need to be heard to be fully appreciated. It's the kind of support that lasts from the opening act to the curtain call. From Nanakuli High and Intermediate School on Oahu, this is Silent Passion.
For Nanakuli High, an intermediate school sophomore, Malachi Keohuloa has a life like most students. He goes to class, interacts with friends, and does homework. But his passion is the performing arts, where he spends 10 hours after school a week with the Nanakuli High and Intermediate School Performing Arts Center. However, Malachi cannot share that passion with his biggest supporter, his mother. As his mother, Yvette Ibarra, is deaf.
I was born deaf. While my mom was pregnant with me, she had German measles rubella. And so, when I grew up, I was very positive about being deaf. It wasn't a hardship.
For Malachi, joining the performing arts was a natural thing for him to do.
I realized that my son had a passion. He really loves to dance. He really loves music.
I'm just really fond of music, and I thought that maybe joining a performing arts center would probably help me go more in depth with my passion for music and dancing, singing, and now I guess I like acting.
Some psychiatrists say that people who eat peanut butter sandwiches are lonely. I guess you're right.
I guess sometimes it's a little disheartening when your deaf mother's in a crowd at your show and she can't hear a word you're saying or singing. So I guess you have to really bring your emotions out when you're on stage.
So I just enjoy watching his performances. Most of the time, I do understand because it's all based on expression, body language, or the feeling, and so it's beautiful and it touches my heart.
Their relationship is no different because of her disability.
I feel like you shouldn't treat your parent any different from other parents just because they have a disability. So I don't treat my mom any different, but I do sometimes keep in mind that she's deaf.
But being deaf is like you can feel the world without hearing sound, and I feel the world with my heart.
This is Desiree Kanui from Nanakuli High and Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
Our last story features a teenager whose father's past addiction inspired a compassion for others that allowed her to give back in more ways than one. From the HIKI NŌ students at H.P. Baldwin High School on Maui, this is Anti-Meth Teen.
Baldwin High School senior Michaela Wandell is a lot like her dad. They share a sense of humor and positive outlook on life, but that wasn't always the case.
My father became addicted to meth before I was ever born, so he'd already been suffering for a while when I came into the world.
Growing up, Michaela's life was anything but normal. Having a father who was addicted to crystal methamphetamine meant Michaela didn't see much of him as a child.
Growing up with a father addicted to meth was, of course, difficult because he was consumed with his addiction and he wasn't necessarily able to support me and my brother. When my dad went to jail for the first time, me and my brother moved in with our grandparents, and they're the people who raised me, and without them, I don't know where I would have been.
At one point, drug addiction even caused Michaela's father to live on the streets. But when Michaela was 10 years old, he became clean, and over the years, they were able to rebuild their relationship.
He's a totally different person. He's my dad now, and so I'm able to talk to him about anything and joke around, and I can actually spend time with my father now.
Michaela's unusual childhood has inspired her to give back to people going through rough times.
I volunteer at places like the Hawaiian Meth Project, where I do meth outreach, and then at Feed My Sheep, because my father was homeless for a period of time when I was growing up, and so it's my way of giving back to people who are in the same situation.
Michaela also realized that she could use her story to inspire others. She was invited to speak at TEDx Youth at Seabury Hall.
My message was that no matter where you come from, you're still able to do whatever you want.
Don't listen to these statistical profiles that you should be anything else than what you want to be, because you can do it.
A student there who had never really heard this came up to me afterwards and was he was in tears, and he was thank you for telling me that, because I have never heard that before. And it really touched me because I was able to help someone else be inspired to believe in themselves, and it was a really important moment for me.
Michaela plans to continue inspiring others by sharing her story. She says she achieved success by embracing her past, not ignoring it.
Those are all things I'm really proud of, and I wouldn't have done or found if it wasn't for those harder times as a child. So I wouldn't change anything about my life, and I think it's a happy life.
This has been Jessica Pressman from H.P. Baldwin High School for HIKI NŌ.
Well, we've come to the end of the second of 4 special HIKI NŌ episodes focus on compassion. In this collection of student stories, our HIKI NŌ journalists have shown us a deep understanding of the relationship between a parent and a child. Even when faced with challenges, a deep compassion for one another is what holds these family units together. Stay tuned next week when we dive through the archives to bring you the third HIKI NŌ special, Focus on Compassion, Self-Identity. Until then, I'm Crystal Cebedo. Ahui ho.
On the story Silent Passion, I was the director, co-editor, writer, and interpreter voice.
I was the camera person and the co-editor.
So Silent Passion is about Malachi Keohuloa, who is a sophomore at Nanakuli High Intermediate School. And his passion is music and performing arts, but his mother, his #1 supporter, is deaf.
I think the biggest challenge for the students was more in terms of integrating the feedback from our mentor.
The HIKI NŌ process of working with the mentor for our team was a bit challenging at times because in the beginning we would do like everything she told us. We would correct things, we would color correct, we would fix rough jump cuts or anything that she would say.
But then sometimes I think we got a little confused. We're like, wait, does she mean this or this?
So it's kind of frustrating at times because it's like, you feel like you did everything she said, but then like she changes her mind.
So it's kind of like balancing out and then trying to keep doing it until we get it right and the story is at the strongest it can be.
It helped them reflect because, to be honest, they didn't always agree with the feedback. And we would have to have those hard discussions and trying to get them to step back and say, okay, why do you think she's asking you to do this? How does it improve the story?
But in the end, I think what she said did make our video a lot stronger. We couldn't see it at times, but after we kind of did it and we kind of fixed what she said that we needed to fix, we watched it and we went, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now.
You have to keep trying to do things to get it right. You can't just get things right on the first try. You have to keep building it up to make it better.
One of the things I saw the students learn is this ownership, realizing even though they own the story, you know, having outside eyes give you feedback, you need to kind of really take in those suggestions.
When I heard that our story was approved and it was done, I was really proud and I was very happy because we had worked like 3 to 4 months on it. So hearing that it was finally approved made me feel really proud that we accomplished it and we finished it.
That's what I love about this whole HIKI NŌ process. It's real, it's project-based, it's not just for a teacher, but the skills they learn in producing a video are skills that will carry them throughout their life.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you, mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.